Hey, are you a new PTO president and you were wondering like, oh my God, what have I signed up for? What in the world am I supposed to do now? That is all what we are going to be talking about in today's video. And I have a lot of enthusiasm about this because I love helping new leaders or volunteers who are stepping into a leadership role, especially the one of president, because so many people are like, no, I can't do that. No, that's too much. And I'm like, no, girl, you totally can do this. I shouldn't say girl, woman, you so can do this. I think anybody has the potential to be the leader. I think you just kind of have to trust in yourself. But let me get off my soapbox and we're going to talk about actual stuff that you need to be doing when you are a new president, whenever you either get appointed or elected or installed or whatevs. This is what you need to be doing. So the very first thing that you need to do as a new PTO president is to check in with your fellow volunteers. So check in with your other officers and committee chairs. Make sure that they have what they need. See what questions they have. Just because they have the questions does not mean that you need to be the person giving the answers, but it is good to know where people are at so that you can help meet them there and that you can provide support if you don't have the answer, which chances are you are not going to have the answer, especially if this is the very first time that you are president. And now one of the reasons that I am so passionate about PTO and PTA presidents is that it takes a special kind of someone to step up into this role. Because like I said earlier, too many people think that they cannot do it, that it's going to be too much. It's a lot, but it's doable. And so I am in my 8th and final year as being a PTO president. I've been PTO president of like 5 units, I think, total. So it's a lot. But once you've done it a couple times, it's really no big thing. And it's more of like a step and repeat. Even if you don't know the answer right now, you might come across it later and you can pass along the information to the officers or committee chairs or kind of lead them in the direction that they need to go. Anytime you come across a resource that you think might be helpful, super handy for you to point that out to them. One of the first resources that I would point them to is the Superstar PTO Leaders Facebook group. It is a free Facebook group that actually I host, and there are about 8,000 members in there. So many stinking supportive people. It is fantastic to have such a nice community where we all kind of come together, and we're all PTO nerds, and some have, like, everyone's on a different spectrum as far as how much knowledge and experience they have, but everybody has the same kind of passion and interest. So that's super nice. Now, assuming that you're coming in as president at the end of the school year in the springtime and that you have time over the summer to kind of look forward to, one of the things you're going to want to talk to your officers and committee chairs about is setting a date for the summer planning meeting. I have a whole other video about summer planning meetings and what you need to be doing to kind of prepare for those and what to do in that meeting. So be sure to check that out. And then the next thing you want to do, especially before you leave school, is get the principal's contact information and check in with them. Find out, I would go ahead even before the end of the school year happens, or right after the school year happens actually is the better time for them usually, because there's such a rush to get everything done. And once school is out, they have a lot less on their plate, still a lot, but a lot less. So go ahead and schedule your first meeting with the principal for like whenever is most convenient for them. Get it before their break happens. Ideally, you're going to want to be meeting with the principal kind of right when school ends and then right before school begins at a minimum. And you're going to want to be checking in with them periodically as well, like in between those two meeting times. The next thing you're going to want to do is kind of look towards the next year and the next school year. And this is if you are coming in the spring as a new president. If you're coming in at any other time, you're definitely going to want to get on top of this right away. And that's to make sure that the family events and membership drive and fundraising events are all kind of set for the year, or that the plans for them are in the works. The key to success in all things PTO is not trying to fly by the seat of your pants and fly in the plane that you are currently building, right? So my good friend Karen always talks about not trying to build the plane as you are flying it. And that is a perfect analogy for what so many of us as PTO leaders end up doing because there's just not enough time. But how I stay sane personally is to plan things out in advance and be working towards things, because when I have time to plan like that, then I can kind of see the event in my mind and I can anticipate things that might come up as that turn into big problems and avoid those, because that's ideally what you want to do. Like, it is hard enough to be a PTO leader without getting in your own way. And one of the ways that you get in your own way is by putting things off and kind of trying to slapdash it all, make it happen at the end. The next thing that you need to be doing is checking in with the other PTO leaders in your district. See what is going on, see what's going on in their world, what they are hoping to do in the next year. See what possibilities there are for collaboration or support. If you are planning an event, it's really just a touch more work to plan it for 300 people than it is for 100 people or 500 people versus 1,000. Like, you just need more of everything, but the bulk of the work, the base foundational things that you need to do remain the same. It doesn't change really depending on how many people that you are planning for. So look for opportunities to collaborate with the other PTOs in your school district, because it just cuts down on the workload if you have more helpers involved. Now, the next thing that you need to do, and I totally alluded to this earlier, but it's kind of just to stay calm. Like, it can be so overwhelming. It is certainly exciting to come in as a new leader. I know I always have like a rush of just anticipation, and I get excited about all the stinking possibilities. But at the same time, that can be so overwhelming. So I just want you to take a breath, in and out, and just know that it's all going to be fine, because you are going to do the best that you can, whatever that means. So no one is expecting you to be perfect. And if they are, that is kind of actually their own little problem. But I don't think you need to be perfect, because my kind of guiding life philosophy is that done is better than perfect, because you always have the chance to do it better next time, and that you shouldn't let yourself not do something, not try something just because it might not be perfect, because chances are it's not going to be perfect anyway, and that you're going to just be better off having given it a whirl. The other thing to know is that you for sure don't know everything you need to know right now. Like, for sure. Even if you've done this, even if you've been president for many years, there is something that you don't know, because that's just how life works. But you know enough right now to be in this leadership role, and that you are good enough. And so don't psych yourself out thinking anything else. All right, the very last thing you need to do as a PTO president right when you come on board is to fill open positions. It is going to help you immensely if you have more helpers to do the jobs, and if things aren't kind of falling to you, because that's kind of what happens with essential PTO functions. Like, if you don't have someone who's going to be planning the Wall of Fame awards program, that's going to fall on you, because your PTO totally wants a Wall of Fame program. So you're going to make it happen. And so it's just easier if you bring in a volunteer to kind of help make that happen than it is to try and do it yourself. Just hear me on that one. All right. So now let's talk about how to make your life easier as a new PTO president. But actually, all those things that I've talked about earlier, they will make your life easier if you do them, as opposed to like putting them off or thinking that they don't matter. If you are watching this on YouTube or not, then totally head to the PTO Answers YouTube channel. It's a great resource. If you have a question, you can go ahead and just search my videos, and hopefully one will pop up and answer that question. If you don't see your issue addressed, then you can totally reach out to me with an email or tag me in the PTO Superstar Leader group. And the last thing is, I want you to get some resources to help your life easier. And the best resource is the President Success Kit. So this is just one piece of the President Success Kit. This is the President's Planner and Binder Kit. and I've set it up here with all this rainbow gorgeousness. But basically, it is a form and template kit to help you keep track of all the information that you need to be keeping track of throughout the year. These are just some of the sign up forms, but there are a ton of forms in here. This kit has over 800 pages. Phenomenal resource. One volunteer who got this last year said, I've had such a great year and so many people have said that I'm doing such a great job. And she goes, all I've honestly done is she just bought this kit. So know that it can make a wonderful difference in your life. Again, there will be a link to that kit in the description below, but go ahead and check it out. It has, beyond the forms and the templates, it has monthly guidance about what to be doing when, which is so key just to kind of keep you on track. Because even though there are going to be some differences for your PTO kind of individually, there are some global things that you should definitely be doing at certain times of the year just to kind of keep on track and make sure that you have like high level attention on everything. So go ahead and check out that resource below. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you join me for the next one. Want even more guidance on how to be a stronger leader so you can run a better PTO or PTA? All of these resources and more are waiting for you at ptoanswers.com.